So you can't.
Red omelette. Red omelette.
इनका है इनको तो और एक है हाँ? नहीं नहीं प्योर नॉन वेजिटेरियन.
अच्छा अच्छा.
अभी नुब्रा में बर्फ है नहीं है.
नहीं
इधर मतलब थोड़ा गर्म
तो गर्मी है.
अच्छा. So glad I'm getting nice North Indian style rajma chawal. Thank you. We're done with lunch. Now the next stop is going to be a couple of hours away from here. We are headed to Nubra Valley. This morning we were aiming to reach Kardungla as early as possible, but after Kardungla we slowed down and we had lunch. Now we are supposed to reach Nubra Valley before sunset. So now we need to pick up the pace. The rest of the journey does look pretty smooth and easy because the roads are good. There's hardly any off-roading. Since we are descending down the mountain, obviously we are going to be a little more faster. Yet one thing that we have to pay special attention to is how we corner the curves, because that can at times be risky if you are traveling at a high speed. We were headed down into the valley, and so we did pass by a lot of settlements on both sides. I've often imagined how it would feel like to live in a place like this, and yet I don't think that I have the mental and the emotional capacity to stay here permanently. I do, however, admire the courage, the strength, and the tenacity of the people that live in a place like this. As we are coming down the mountain, there is the Shyok Valley on the other side, and there is a Shyok River. This is the Shyok River valley that we can see. It is one of the tributaries of the Indus River, and the view is gorgeous. That means it was time for us to take a stop and even take a few drone shots for the vlog. These mountains, they are mighty and they are majestic. I'm amazed that even through these mountains, even in spite of these mountains, there are roads, there are pathways that connect one place to another. This is the power of human will, and I truly believe that irrespective of whatever mountains, mighty mountains that stand in our way, we can still carve out a pathway by faith to reach our destiny. The next phase of ride is where we did encounter a slightly off-roading conditions, and that was not too bad. but we had to be careful of the rocks, we had to be careful of the roads that are not well done. That's where traveling in a big group like this also makes sense, because if there is a stone or a rock or a bad road in the way, the person who is riding ahead of you, he always gives you a sign, and you are able to avoid something that you have not spotted yourself. And I think that that's the same truth we have to embrace even in life. When we are journeying in a group, in fellowship with other people who are headed in the same direction as we are, we will often have divine help and direction and guidance from the people that are traveling ahead of us. We are ultimately headed to a village called Hunda. That's where we are staying for the night. But on the way, we will first stop at the Diskit monastery. Although we didn't go into the monastery, it was on the way, so we went in and we visited the monastery from the outside. Diskit is like the administrative center of this Nubra valley. And we also passed by another village called Khalsar. And we ultimately stayed in this place called Hundar. This is the part of the day where the sun began to hurt our physical bodies, because we were dressed up for the snow, and it was all of a sudden getting so hot that I had to remove the thermals in between the ride and then continue on the rest of the journey. And we are arriving at the Diskit monastery right now. This may be the first time during the day that I encountered a little bit of greenery. Everywhere else it was just the mountains where there was no plantation, no vegetation, and you saw a lot of snow, but you never get to see any greenery except when you actually land up in the valley. That's all for now. Our stay in Nubra Valley and our journey towards Pangong Lake in our next vlog. So this morning began with us climbing the Kardungla Pass, and it was snowing over there. Okay, and we finished here in Nubra Valley, and guess what we see here? It is full of sand dunes. Like so if you can see in the background over there you can see the snow, and here you will see the sand dunes. I think Ladakh is the only place where you get to see the snow and the sand in the same frame.